Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Easy English channel, the place where we make learning English feel relaxed, practical, and actually fun. I'm Sophia.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason. We are genuinely happy to see you again today.
Whether you are listening while walking in the park, cooking a delicious dinner, commuting to work, or maybe just sitting with a cup of tea and focusing on your English, you are in exactly the right place.
Absolutely. Every episode here is designed to help you think in English. To understand how the language really works in a natural way, not that boring textbook way.
Before we dive into today's topic, we have a small favor to ask. If this podcast helps you improve your English speaking confidence, please follow the show and share it with one friend who is also learning English.
Yes, because learning together makes the journey much more fun and, let's be honest, a lot faster too.
All right, Jason. Today's topic is one of those things that sounds a bit like a grammar mistake waiting to happen, but it's actually the secret to building, well, perfect sentences.
Oh no, which mistake are we making today?
We are talking about linking verbs, transitive verbs, and intransitive verbs.
Those sound like very long, technical names. I can already feel my brain getting a little tired just hearing them.
I know, right? Many English learners understand the basic rules of a sentence, but when they try to use them in real conversation, something feels off. They know the words, but the glue that holds the sentence together feels, well, weak.
That's a great point. Actually, I've seen this many times. Someone knows the word sleep and the word pizza, but they aren't sure why they can say I eat pizza, but they can't say I sleep pizza.
Exactly. And today, we are going to make that completely clear. By the end of this episode, you won't just know the names, you will feel how these verbs work.
That sounds much better than just memorizing a list.
Let's start with the simplest one, linking verbs. Think of a linking verb like a bridge or an equals sign. It doesn't show an action. Instead, it connects the subject to more information about the subject.
Oh, wow. So it's basically just a connector.
Precisely. The most common linking verb is the verb to be, am, is, are. For example, the sky is blue. Here, isn't doing anything. It's just connecting sky to the color blue.
I see what you mean. It's showing a state or a condition, not a movement.
Exactly. Other common linking verbs are feel, look, seem, and become. For example, I feel happy. You aren't feeling an object with your hands. You are just, well, describing your state.
Wait a second. So, if I say, the pizza smells good, is smells a linking verb there?
Yes, it's connecting the pizza to the description good.
That's a good point. It's like saying, pizza equals good.
But here's something interesting. Now we move to action verbs. These are different. They show an actual movement or a mental process. And this brings us to transitive verbs.
Transitive. That sounds a bit like transport.
You are actually right. A transitive verb transports the action from the subject to an object. In simple words, these verbs need an object to finish the thought.
Let's look at a real-life situation. If I walk into a room and just say, I bought, and then I just stop talking, everyone will look at me and ask, bought what?
Exactly. Buy is a transitive verb. The action must happen to something. I bought a phone. I eat an apple. I watched a movie.
I see. So if the sentence feels empty or incomplete without a noun at the end, it's probably a transitive verb.
Correct. Now, let's look at the third one, intransitive verbs. These are the independent ones. They don't need an object. The action is complete all by itself.
Like, I sleep?
Perfect example. You can't sleep a thing, you just, well, sleep. or he laughed, or the sun shines. The action starts and ends with the subject.
Wait a second. So, he runs is intransitive?
Yes, he runs. The sentence is complete.
But here's something interesting. I can say, he runs a business. What happens then?
Now things get interesting. Some verbs can be both. When you say he runs every morning, it's intransitive, no object. But when you say he runs a company, now it has an object, so now it's transitive.
Oh, wow. So the same word can change its job depending on the sentence?
Exactly. English is very flexible. That's why we focus on the role of the word, not just the word itself.
I see what you mean. It's about how the word, behaves in the house of the sentence.
Let's look at a real-life situation to see all three in action. Imagine Jason is at home. Jason, tell me about your evening.
Okay, let me think. I felt tired. I cooked some pasta. Then I slept.
Perfect. I felt tired, linking verb. I cooked some pasta, transitive because pasta is the object. I slept, intransitive.
That's true. It's actually quite simple when you see it that way.
But there's a small detail most people miss. Sometimes learners add objects where they don't belong. For example, they might say, I arrived the station.
That sounds a bit off.
Right, because arrive is intransitive. You don't arrive a thing, you arrive at a place. At the station is a prepositional phrase, not an object.
I see. So arrive doesn't transport the action directly to the station. It needs a little help from the word at.
Exactly. Now, let's look at a common mistake learners make. This happens a lot with the verb discuss.
Oh, I think I know this one. People say, we discussed about the problem.
Yes, that is a very common mistake. Discuss is a transitive verb. It takes the object directly. So you should say, we discussed the problem. No about needed.
That's a great point. It feels like we want to add extra words, but the transitive verb just wants to grab the object immediately.
Precisely. On the other hand, a verb like talk is intransitive. You say, we talked about the problem.
Wait a second. Let me check if I have this right. Discuss the problem is transitive. Talk about the problem is intransitive.
You've got it.
This is where many learners get confused. They try to treat all verbs the same way.
Right. And that's why their English might sound a little bit like translated English rather than natural English.
Let's look at a real-life situation involving emotions, because linking verbs are great for showing how we feel.
Good idea. If I say, you look tired, I am using a linking verb. I am describing you. But if I say, you look at the map, I am using an action.
Oh, wow, I see. In the first one, you are describing my face. In the second one, I'm actually doing the work of looking.
Exactly. And your tone can change the meaning too. If I say, that sounds good, with a happy tone, it's a linking verb showing agreement.
But if I say, that sounds interesting, with a slow tone, it might mean I don't actually like it.
Exactly. The linking verb sounds is just connecting your idea to my opinion.
Now things get interesting. What about verbs that describe a change, like become or get?
Those are very important linking verbs. He became a doctor. It is getting dark. They link the subject to a new state or identity.
So, I got a gift is transitive because the gift is an object I'm holding, but I got angry is linking because angry is my state.
Exactly, Jason. You are becoming a grammar expert. That is exactly right.
I see what you mean. It really is about whether the verb is holding a thing or just pointing to a description.
Now, let's talk about how this sounds in fast speech. Native speakers often contract the linking verbs.
Like, she's happy instead of she is happy?
Yes, but also with transitive verbs, we often link the verb to the object very quickly. We don't say, I liked it, we say, I liked it. The D sound at the end of liked jumps onto the word it.
I liked it. I loved it. I bought it.
Exactly. It sounds like one word. But with intransitive verbs, there is often a natural pause because the thought is finished. He arrived, she laughed.
That's a great question. Does that mean intransitive verbs help us find places to breathe in a long story?
That is a wonderful observation. Yes, they act like little stop signs in your speech.
Let's look at a real-life situation where we combine all of them. Imagine we are talking about a hobby.
Okay, I'll start. I love gardening. Every weekend, I plant flowers in my garden. The flowers look beautiful and they grow very fast.
Let me try to break that down. I love gardening, transitive. I plant flowers, transitive. The flowers look beautiful, linking. They grow very fast, intransitive.
Perfect! You see, in just 4 sentences, you used all 3 types.
And it felt totally natural. I didn't feel like a robot at all.
That's the goal. Grammar should be like a skeleton. You don't see it, but it supports everything you do.
Now, this is where many learners get confused. They try to use enjoy as an intransitive verb. They say, I am enjoying.
Right, but enjoy is transitive. You have to say, I am enjoying it, or I am enjoying the party.
I see. You can't just let the action hang in the air. You have to give it a place to land.
Exactly. Now, let's do a quick recap for our listeners before we give them a challenge.
Linking verbs are like bridges. They connect the subject to a description or a state. Sky equals blue. I equals happy.
Transitive verbs are like movers. They take an action and give it to an object. I eat, what? Pizza.
And intransitive verbs are like solo performers. They don't need anyone else. I sleep, I run, I laugh.
Perfect summary, Jason. Now it's your turn. We want to see you practice this right now.
Yes, don't just listen, use it.
Try to make 1 or 2 sentences in the comments. You can tell us about your day, your hobby, or just how you feel. For example, I am happy today. I read a book.
I am happy is your linking verb. I read a book is your transitive verb. See? It's easy.
We love reading your examples. It's the best way to move from understanding to speaking.
And it really helps us see that you are making progress.
Before we go, remember that English is a journey. Even if you forget the names, transitive or linking, just focus on whether your sentence feels complete or if it needs a thing at the end.
That's a very encouraging thought, Sophia. Focus on the meaning and the grammar will follow.
Exactly. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We know you're busy and we respect the effort you're putting into your English.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy learning English through our conversations.
We can't wait to see your sentences in the comments.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.